Ladies and gentlemen, day one of week 2 of OTAs for the Atlanta Falcons are officially in the books, and with that being said, we have a lot to cover. A lot of news, notes, highlights, observations from Michael Penix and Drake London, and a lot of guys, right? So we're going to break down everything you need to know. However, before we dive into the video, I do want to give a massive shout out, and I want to give credit where credit is due, and that is with all of the reporters over here in Atlanta who post these highlights, post these videos for us to kind of cover. Go follow them on X because they cover everything, all the news and notes before I even do so. So go give them a follow on X or Twitter right now. Before you do anything else, I promise you, you will not regret it. And on this simple play, we're just getting a quick slant, right? Maybe a 8 to 10 yard slant, maybe a skinny post if you want to call it that. Michael Penix, great placement of football. We're starting to see that chemistry really be built between him and all of these wide receivers. So let's just dive right into the video. Now, I want to show you all the reps, the good, the bad, maybe some ugly, right? There's going to be a lot of different ones that we're going to see. Now, here is to Ray McCloud off the left side with Michael Penix as we drop back. All we're looking at here is scanning the field. Don't want to stare down one target, so we start by looking right, scan left, and then throw the ball. Now, this throw, a little bit over the head of Ray McCloud, a little bit of an overshoot there. And again, I'm not just going to sit here and show you every good play from practice. Sometimes we got to look at the bad ones. And as you're building this chemistry, these are the things that you got to, kind of iron out. You got to get through these reps right here. And you got to understand, okay, Ray McCloud, he's not Drake London. He's not this big, tall receiver. We got to make sure this is a little bit lower for sure. Let's keep going. Now, at the same time, we want to flip sides and throw to the right side of the field as well. We're not always going to be throwing to the left, so we do the same thing. Drop back left, scan right, throw the ball. Another rep here. I believe the wide receiver is Jesse Matthews, wearing number 86 here. Now, this is more of a stop comeback route. You want to come back to the football. Great job by Jesse Matthews. Coming back to the football, turning up the field. Let's see the throw here by Michael Penix. Again, this dude's got a really strong arm, so this is maybe 30% of what he can really do. Again, a little bit of a warm-up period, building chemistry with your wide receivers on this right side. Another bad rep here, not by Michael Penix, but 83. Now, 83 is Malachi Polk. I actually really like the route here because he twists that head back to the quarterback, right? Makes the DB think, and again, I know there's no DB, but if there was a DB and maybe a third coverage, right, he'd probably pick up and step up on that, and then boom, we cut back to the other side. Kind of a good route here by Malachi Polk, UDFA free agent, but no hands, drops the ball. You cannot be dropping these ones, man. Especially in a game format, you cannot. Now, also see a first look at number 15 here. Now, I'm not sure who 15 is for this football team. I don't know if Emory Jones switched his number. That is definitely a possibility. Kirk Cousins obviously not here. And then you have Easton Stick. If anyone knows who 15 is, let me know. I do think that Emory Jones is wearing 11. This could be Felipe Franks with the quarterbacks right here. It could be. He's a former quarterback, turned tight end. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any idea. That could be Felipe Franks. All right, here's another angle of Michael Penix dropping back, throwing over to Drake London. Great spiral. Look at that ball. That is a beautiful ball here by Michael Penix. One of my favorite things about him is his release, man. He's got a great release. And before we get any further into this video, do me a big time favor, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Helps out the channel so much. But most importantly, make sure you guys are subscribed. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to join the family, and we will be covering this Falcons team, Michael Penix, Drake London, right, everybody throughout the entirety of the offseason. Now, what does that include? All of OTAs, which is going to be the rest of this week. From there, they're going to get into mandatory minicamp, which we're going to see things ramp up quite quickly here. And then after mandatory minicamp, they take about a month off, and then training camp comes out of nowhere. And from there, the season is right around the corner. Not only are we going to cover every single practice, we're also going to cover preseason football, breaking down the all-22 coaches film of Michael Penix and all of these guys playing for the Atlanta Falcons, including the defense as well. So make sure you guys join the family, turn on post notifications, and let's kind of dive back into more of today's practice. I get it. It's a lot of just throwing to the wide receivers under air. They're not really allowed to show you any 11-on-11s or 7-on-7s because they don't want other teams kind of taking those plays and studying them for the season. A little bit more here from Michael Penix. I wish we got to see a little bit more from the defensive guys. For example, the James Pierces and the Jalen Walkers of the world. Those guys are going to be so amazing. Xavier Watts, another guy who looked really good throughout rookie minicamp. And then you have Billy Bowman, a guy that's played a lot in the nickel. You sign a UDFA corner in Kobe Bryant, who's already taken some shots at Lamar Jackson. I mean, he looks like he could be someone that could be in the media a ton just in terms of talking and, a little bit of crap here and there. And, he's a player that outside of that side of him, he's a really good football player. Probably should not have went as a UDFA free agent, but ultimately did. I thought the Falcons got a really big steal in Kobe Bryant if he can keep everything straight in line and make sure to focus on football. But in terms of talent and athleticism, Kobe Bryant could be an absolute beast here in the NFL. Now, obviously, that DB room still looks pretty good with Mike Hughes and AJ Terrell and D. Alford, but they also bring in Mike Ford from Cleveland. You have Clark Phillips, who was the former, I believe, 4th-round pick back in 2023, and then you add guys like, Billy Bowman, Xavier Watts, Kobe Bryant, Keith Taylor, Dante Manning. So very, very interesting to see what this DB room looks like going into the season, but I do like a lot of guys. And again, how are we dropping these balls, man? These are the things we cannot be doing, Ray McLeod. Quick dig over the middle. Just can't bring it in. Great throw by Michael Penix. None of this is the quarterback's fault here. Right? Play fake, drop back. Great anticipation. Just got to bring that thing in, man. Come on. Now, we don't have too much more footage from today's practice. They like to keep everything tight in camp and not show too much outside of the throws with just the wide receivers, quarterbacks. But we do have some news that I do want to talk about here. Raheem Morris did confirm that they will be hosting joint practices with the Tennessee Titans during, I believe, the second week of the preseason. So we'll be getting a lot more footage and highlights and stuff like that, news notes from the second week of training camp, preseason, I guess I should say. We also saw that, Michael Penix is, really confident coming into the season. His teammates are really high on him. Jesse Bates is one guy who is very excited about where Michael Penix is going to go from here, and he looks like a pro. Raheem Morris also stated that they have been ramping up James Pierce Jr. to start OTAs. He'll be out there in full team period, which was today. So he was out there a little bit, wasn't involved during the last media viewing practice, which was last week. But from here, he should continue to, get more and more reps as time goes on. I do know you guys are just watching one clip here, but again, don't have too much more footage from here on out. Raheem Morris also talked a little bit about Jalen Walker, said, this guy, instant grits, right? You just tell him something, he goes out and does it the first time every time. He's locked in. He's an absolute athlete, absolute motivator, and a guy that could be a team leader in just a few years from now. I mean, even maybe in year one. So that's cool to see. They're taking things very slowly with Kyle Pitts. He's got a little bit of an injury, but they're just being cautious. Want to make sure he's okay. And there have been some trade rumors, but according to Raheem Morris, they're locked in with Kyle Pitts. But again, at the same time, every coach is going to say that. So we still have no idea. And then Raheem Morris is also excited about the attendance. A lot of guys here, obviously voluntary workouts. You don't need to be here if you're on the Falcons, but it is, something that they would like. And for the most part, everyone's here. Everyone's doing a good job. So they're very extremely excited about where this team is headed and how they're going to develop going into the rest of OTAs and then mandatory minicamp next week.